Okay, now there's a couple of little sentences at the top there to help explain a few things. So let's fill in the blanks that are in there. When working with one or more operations, you always deal with the brackets first. So you put brackets in that first little space there. The next dot point says, then we do multiplication and division next, working from left to right. Yes? Yeah, you can use a pencil. You need one? Have a look at that in a minute. All right, then we do addition and subtraction. And this is always working from left to right. So if a subtraction comes before an addition, you would do that first. You do whatever's on the left side and you work your way across the problem. It is. That's right. Brackets can sit inside other brackets. Always deal with the inside brackets first. If there's two sets of brackets, do the inside ones first. Now, these girls are already kind of whispering it. Some of you may have learnt a little thing to help you remember that with the order operations. Now, there is two different ones around. Some of you may have learned bod mass, and others may have heard of bid mass. It's that O or the I that usually people have different. Who's bod mass? Who's bid mass? Oh, see, look. It's always about half. Look at that. All right. So, B stands for brackets. You do brackets first. O or the I, it actually doesn't matter which one you learn, so we don't really use that one yet. It stands for, O is for of or orders of, when you're doing powers of things, or I, same letter, means the same thing. It means index, powers of. We're not going to be doing those yet, so it really doesn't matter about that one for now, okay? So brackets, the O we don't really need. D is for division and M for multiplication. So division and multiplication are together. So you do whichever one of those comes first. You don't just do division first. It's whichever one comes first along the line. And then addition and subtraction, whichever one comes first along the line. Okay, so that's a little thing to help you remember the order on how to do them. Okay, so that's what we're doing today. We're going to be solving these questions down here using order of operations. Now, the key thing with these questions is how you set them out. Okay, there are a lot of people in this room who probably look at those and go, yep, I know the answer. But unless you can set it out with the proper working out, you're not going to get full marks. When I mark these on a test, we kind of go, if this has got 4 equal signs down here, I might go, oh, half mark for each one of those. You've got to get each line with the right step to get the full marks. You need to be able to show me how to do each step properly. So what I want you to practice, when you look at a question, thinking of your, I'm going to write down bod mass. Thinking of your order operations, B stands for brackets. In this first question, I don't have any brackets, okay? So I can skip that one, don't need that, and we don't need the O, okay? The division and the multiplication. I don't have any multiplication, but I have a division. So what I want you to do is I want you to circle the part that you're going to do. I'm going to do the division first, and I'm going to go 10 divided by 2. That's the first part that I'm going to do. That means that the first line of working that I want to see, the parts that are outside the circle, you just write those down. You just copy them down exactly as they are. So I'm going to have a 6, and I'm going to have a plus. Only the part that is inside that circle is the part that I'm going to calculate on this first line. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. Okay, so I've done my first step, which was the division. Now, the only thing left to do, thankfully, so addition and subtraction is my last step, and I've got one little addition left here to do, so I do that on my second step. 6 plus 5 equals 11. Okay, and that's the first question done, setting out properly. What I do not want to see, don't write this part down because you're not going to copy, this is the wrong thing to do. I do not want to see people scribbling on things up here writing, working out on these kind of questions, they need to be set out with equal signs, putting things in the question as you go. Otherwise, I get people who will go 10 divided by 2 is 5, and then they'll go equals plus 6, and then equals again. You can't delete things and then end up add them back in later. They all have to stay in there the whole way through the question. Does that make sense? Yeah. We're going to practice it some more. Let's do it again. All right, question B. Starting again with our order of operations, brackets are first. So, brackets are here. Let's circle the brackets. Everything outside of those brackets we're going to write down again, and we're just going to calculate the part inside those brackets, inside that circle. So that's going to be 18 minus 2 times, okay, now I've got the circle part. I can calculate that circle part. 4 plus 6 is 10. Then I have a divide by 5. Okay, so I've done my first step, I got my first half mark. Okay, now, order of operations again, the brackets are gone. So now I'm looking for division and multiplication. So I have both of those. And remember, I have to start on the left. I do the left first, and then I go to the right. So I'm going to have to do the multiply first. So circle now, this is my next step. The 2 times 10 is going to be my next step. All right, I can't do the division on the same line, or I shouldn't. Some of you might want to. Shouldn't do the division on the same line because it's impacting on, I need to get that result first before I do. Okay, so same process. Everything outside the circle, write down again. Only calculate the part inside the circle. So 18 minus sign. Inside the circle, 2 times 10 is 20. And then I have a divide by 5. Okay, just doing one little bit at a time. All right, next step, I still have a division there. So that is going to be my next step. Circle the divide. Everything outside the circle we write down. 18 and a minus sign is outside the circle. Inside the circle, 20 divided by 5 is 4. Great. And that just leaves me with one step, so there's only one thing left to do. So it has to be that I've got to do last. 18 take away 4 is 14. All right, they get a little bit trickier as we go down the page here. Make sure you're writing down all the steps. If you have different, you should all have your different color pens, so you can be circling in red and writing in blue, or highlighters are wonderful, showing how we're doing each step. Okay, part C. First step is brackets, but we've got big square brackets and we've got little round ones. Yes? That's all right, yep. Oh, you tell me how to do it? What's my first step? Do the inside brackets. That's right. When there are 2 sets of brackets, we always start with the inside ones first. So let's circle the inside brackets, the 5 minus 3. Yeah, up the back.
Why are there colored brackets?
It's just so that you can easily see the difference between the 2 types, so you know which bracket. So the square ones belong together and the round ones belong together. Sometimes you will see 2 sets of round brackets, but this is just another way of doing it so it's less confusing. 2 different types. All right, let's write down what is left. We still have the square bracket. We have a 6 and a minus. Inside my red circle, I'm going to work that out. So 5 minus 3 is 2. Close the square bracket and times by 7. Now I still have brackets. So brackets are still at the top of the list of what we have to do next. So now we're going to have to do the outside brackets, the square ones here. Circle them, that's next. 6 take away 2 is 4. And then I have the times 7, which was outside. We just write that part down again. And that just leaves me with one step. When it's one step, circling it's a bit obvious, but you don't have to circle it. I obviously have to do 4 times 7. 4 times 7 is going to be equal to 28. All right. Copy that down. Got all that copied down? Yep, good. And then we're on to page 3. Now, this question is probably a bit more of an advanced kind of question. So in year 7, we have what we call a mixed class. We have the people in here that are wonderful mathematicians that love it and love doing all these challenging questions. And then we have all the way people who like it, good at it, middle, and then people who struggle a bit with maths as well. So there are times when I'm going to show you some of the harder stuff, which I will give some harder stuff to the people who want the extra challenge, but it is not for everybody, okay? Not everybody has to do the harder questions, all right? Next year, year 8, we actually stream the classes. So that means that we take all the people who do the best in maths this year, we take the top 50 to 60 people, and we put them in 2 top classes, and they do harder work and they do it faster and they go a bit ahead of the other classes. Then we have 2 middle classes, and then we have 1 other class which is for people who need to go a little bit slower. So next year the classes will be a bit more aimed towards people's ability, but this year we have to be patient with each other, okay? So if you find something really easy, please be patient with the people who are struggling a little bit. If you find something really hard, please be patient as I try to come around and help you. Please come and get help from me as much as you need, and we'll help you as best we can, all right? All right, let's keep going. So this is one of the harder questions. It's harder because it's wordy, okay? Find the difference between 76 and 43, triple this result, and finally subtract the quotient of 35 and 7. Okay, now this is order of operations, so I obviously don't want you to sit there and do all of that in your head. Some of you might want to. I would like you to try and work out what that is as a number problem. So let's go through and see if we can work out what some of those words mean. The first one says, find the difference. Hands up who knows what the word difference means. Yes. To take away. Good. Difference means to subtract, to take away. Okay. Between 76 and 43. Triple. What does the word triple mean?
Do we have to highlight it like you are?
If you can, it might help you. Yes, if you've got your highlighter. What does the word triple mean?
Times 3.
To times something by 3. So let's put a little times 3 next to that. Triple this result, and finally subtract. I think subtract should be an obvious one. Subtract means to take away again. The quotient. Who knows what quotient means? Yes? No. Not quotient's not the answer. We want to find the quotient of 35 and 7. What does quotient mean? Ooh, do you know? What does it mean? Divide, yeah. Don't use that word very often. Quotient means to divide. Okay? All right. So knowing those words, let's see if we can write out what the problem is. Find the difference between 76 and 43. So difference means subtract. I want 76 and I want to subtract 43. Okay, that's what that first part means. Okay, so what I've done is I've just read this first part. Find the difference between 76 and 43. That's what I've written down. Then it says, triple this result. Triple means to times something by 3. So what I want to do is take that, whatever that is, and I want to times it by 3. Okay? Finally, this is the next part, finally, subtract, okay, so I need a subtract sign, subtract the quotient, so I'm going to have to divide something, the quotient of 35 and 7. So I want 35 divided by 7. Whoa. Who did that in their head? Nobody? Maybe? Oh, a few people. Good. All right. So now that we've got our number problem there, now it's back to a bit more of a normal question, and we can do our order of operations. So the first thing is brackets. We're going to do these first. And the other things about these harder questions is that the numbers are often bigger. Okay, so 76 minus 43, who knows? What is it? Yep. 33, well done. Okay, 33 for that first bit that I've circled. Write the rest of it down. So times 3 minus 35 divide by 7. You're not going to have little equal signs there for you. You're going to have to put those down for most of the questions that you do, okay? So make sure your equal signs are underneath each other. They should be coming straight down the page underneath each other like that. Okay, next thing to do is multiplication and division in order from left to right. So that means this multiplication is going to have to be first. 3 times 33 is 99. Great. So we have 99 minus, write the rest down. Okay, still have a division there. So that division is going to have to happen next. 99 minus 35 divided by 7 is 5. I do that sometimes. I'm thinking about the answer and I accidentally say it. And last step, 99 minus 5 is? Oh, yep, 94. Great work. Okay. So what you will see,